The following is a special presentation of HBO Sports. Again, they watch, wanting more than anyone can reasonably expect. Time is about to run out. Defeat is near, an ugly shadow. Someone has to seize the moment. Someone whose magnificence will become frozen in time.
Michael Jordan! And now Doug Flutie is down to his last at bat.
We have a big 3-2 pitch coming here from Eckersley. Gibson swings.
These rare displays we savor. It is a team playing beyond reason and beyond words.
Little roller up along first.
Sometimes it is not a grand gesture we celebrate, but a grand mistake.
He may do it. Yeah, he may.
And through the ages, oh, how we have raced just to be first to the finish line.
He may do it. Yeah, he may. He's that close.
It is when all the best laid plans have gone awry, when all else has failed. This is when we look again for last-second miracles.
Welcome to Last Second Miracles. I'm Chris Collinsworth, and it's my pleasure to be a part of the highlight reel to end all highlight reels. We're going to take you back to some of the most incredible, most outrageous endings in sports history. You'll remember some of them. They're the not-to-be-forgotten moments when nothing but a magnificent act would do. And somehow, some way, an individual or team responded in miraculous fashion. I've seen it happen, unfortunately, from the losing side. In Super Bowl 23, a guy named Joe Montana staged his own last-second miracle against my Bengals. He methodically guided his 49ers on a 92-yard touchdown drive and took away my Super Bowl ring. But in football, as in all sports, it's players like Montana we remember, the exceptional performers who seem to save the best for last.
Vince Lombardi's 1967 Green Bay Packers were trying to do what had never been done before, win a third straight NFL championship. They faced two formidable obstacles, Tom Landry's brash, young Dallas Cowboys and the piercing chill of minus 15-degree temperatures. The Packers jumped out to an early 14-0 lead, but then they stalled. The Cowboys, meanwhile, made their charge and went ahead 17-14. With time enough for one last drive, the Green Bay offense somehow finds itself marching 63 yards within inches of the Dallas goal line. Vince Lombardi's Packers have 16 seconds to win an unprecedented third straight title. Quarterback Bart Starr and Lombardi decide to gamble with no timeouts left and go for the victory rather than settle for a field goal and sudden death overtime.
To Bader, 17-14, Cowboys out in front. Packers trying for the go-ahead score. Starr begins the count. Takes the snap. He's got the quarterback sneak and he's into the touchdown and the Packers are out in front. 20-17. There's 13 seconds showing on the clock and the Green Bay Packers are going to be world champions, NFL champions for the third straight year.
2 weeks later, the Packers won their second straight Super Bowl. Vince Lombardi's last game as coach of Green Bay. In spite of a serious birth defect, Tom Dempsey played in the NFL for 8 seasons. But he will always be remembered for this game in 1970. The Saints were trailing the Lions by 1 point with only 2 seconds left when Dempsey lined up for what seemed an impossible 63-yard field goal.
Try to kick the longest field goal in National League history. Here's the snap. The ball is down. Dempsey kicks. It's on the way. It is. Good. It's good. The Saints have won.
It was the longest field goal in the NFL. The 1975 Dallas Cowboys stood at the edge of elimination from the playoffs against the Minnesota Vikings. Trailing 14-10, Dallas was huddled 85 long yards away from victory. Just 2 minutes remained.
Well, the Cowboys need a miracle, as we said.
Roger Staubach hits Drew Pearson for completions of 9, 7, and 25 yards. But the Cowboys are still 50 yards shy of the end zone. It seems only a miracle can save them. Good thing for the Cowboys. Pearson knows miracles.
Again, Staubach has him in the shotgun formation. Roger takes the snap, pumps it once. He's going long. Down the near sideline for Drew Pearson. Pearson makes the catch at the 5. Touchdown! Pearson goes in for the touchdown. And the Cowboys score as Staubach hit Pearson on a 50-yard touchdown. And the Cowboys lead with 24 seconds left. Would you believe it? The Vikings are claiming offensive pass interference, but no flag was thrown. And Pearson throws the ball over the scoreboard.
6 years later, January 1982, it's the NFC Championship at Candlestick Park. The Cowboys are still atop the NFL's pedestal, and they're playing the San Francisco 49ers, suddenly contenders after years of mediocrity. But when Danny White passes to Doug Cosby for the go-ahead Cowboys score, the 49ers seem headed for the disappointing finish they have seen so many times before. San Francisco lines up for one more drive, one more chance.
We're on the 11-yard line with 4 minutes and 54 seconds to go, I think. And we had to go the length of the field, and we'd had 6 turnovers that day. So it didn't look good, but nobody ever gave up hope. 89 yards away from payment against America's team. I remember thinking, this is going to be really hard to do. I didn't think it was impossible, but we kept going down the field, and about halfway down there, I could hardly breathe. Everybody was so tired, and I guess they were getting as tired as we were.
San Francisco stops the clock with 58 seconds left, and Joe Montana calls sprint right option, a pass play against the exhausted Doomsday defense.
Right, looking to throw, and he throws into the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco!
It was exactly how it had been drawn up. It was thrown exactly in the right place, exactly where Bill told Joe to throw it. And if I hadn't got it, it would have gone out of bounds, and we would have had 4th down and 3 on the 6-yard line.
Clark's amazing grab would signal a changing of the NFL's guard. It sent the 49ers to the Super Bowl for the first time and marked the beginning of their long dominance. Under Tom Landry, the Cowboys never made it to the Super Bowl again.
Rather to his chest, and he didn't miss that one.
Broughton to the end zone.
It is 1984, and the Miami Hurricanes have taken a 45-41 lead over the Boston College Eagles. It was already a day to remember. For a cast that included Miami coach Jimmy Johnson, quarterback Bernie Kosar, and Doug Flutie, this drama had not yet peaked. The winner of this regular season finale was to advance to the Fiesta Bowl and play for the national championship. Kosar and Flutie had thrown for more than 900 yards combined, and the lead had changed hands again and again. With only seconds left, BC took possession facing 2 alternatives: score a touchdown to win the game, or fail and lose.
They'll get the clock stopped at 20 seconds. Flutie gets it out of bounds, across midfield. 12 seconds. And Doug Flutie is within 48 yards. He's got time. Incomplete. And now Doug Flutie is down to his last at bat. Flutie flush. Throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it. It's a touchdown. The Eagles win it. Unbelievable. I don't believe it. Phelan is at the bottom of that pile. He threw it into the end zone. There was no time left on the clock.
All year long, I became a believer that games are decided in the 4th quarter.
Perhaps the biggest football miracle of all happened in 1972, a landmark year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That season, True to his philosophy, Franco Harris helped decide several games in the final period. But in the playoff game between the Steelers and the Raiders, Oakland was the team working miracles in the last seconds.
Kenny Stabler, who is really not known for his running ability, scrambled 30-something yards for a touchdown right at the end of the game. And I mean, I could not believe that. That was really disheartening, because I guess that's the sort of thing that we expected to happen.
Suddenly, Pittsburgh trailed the Raiders 7-6. On 4th down and 10, the Steelers were seconds away from their season's end. But Franco Harris was a fourth-quarter player.
I went into the huddle telling myself, Franco, it's been an interesting year. This will probably be your last play. Play it to the end.
22 seconds remaining.
Surrounding that play, and as I always mention, I have no comment.
I've seen some strange catches in the National Football League, but the catch by Franco Harris on that cold December day in Pittsburgh is still the one and only immaculate reception. Now let's get out of the chill and go indoors to the hardwood. In recent years, the NCAA men's basketball tournament has grown immensely in popularity. So much so that the tournament is now center stage for a whole month of the sports calendar. In the next few minutes, we'll show you some of the reasons for the latest sports malady, March Madness.
Timeout. They set the play. Robinson, if they can hit it, they'll go to the championship. Mills, outside. The three. It's Higgins. The winner. Sean Higgins.
Askew, 8 seconds. Askew back outside to Turner. Turner trying to win it again. He hits it. 1 second.
Jackson, 5 seconds. Inside. And he scores with 2 seconds. 1 second on the clock. It is all over. It is all over. But it looked like Notre Dame was going to have Kelly Trabuca as the hero.
College basketball has always had its miracle workers. One of them played for Indiana. Swift and an explosive leaper, Keith Smart had been recruited from a Kansas community college, an unknown. Then Smart's play helped take Indiana to the 1987 national championship game. But a turnover by Smart early in the second half incurred the wrath of Coach Bobby Knight.
Turnover at 6.
That made Knight hot. He's going to take Smart out of the ballgame. Now, Bobby.
I heard the horn blow and looked over, and I saw Joe Hillman coming in for me, and I went to the bench, and I just sat there, and I'm thinking that this is it for me for the night. You know, I made a mistake, and this is it.
But Smart's night was just beginning.
Well, as Syracuse made another big run, Coach comes down the bench and looked at me and says, "You ready to go back in?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm ready to go." And he said, "Well, I'm giving you 2 minutes, and if you haven't done anything in 2 minutes, you're coming out, and I can't use you."
Now Smart penetrates a nice pass underneath the Thomas. That bench stand woke him up. So the 3-guard lineup working for Knight. But what you have now is... Look at Smart go to work on the inside. Well, what you have now is Syracuse. Boeheim really doing a masterful job. Great pass inside to Smart.
Bobby Knight's motivational talk was instantly effective. Smart would score 12 of Indiana's last 15 points.
We're down to crunch time.
Off the cut, it's Smart again.
And now it's Derek Coleman short on the shot. A strong rebound by Smart. He has taken over here in the second half.
Athletes in different fields talk about a zone that they're in. And it's a thing where you don't hear what's going on around you. You're not paying attention to what's going on around you. Every shot you put up is going in. Every pass is the right decision.
Now, with the clock winding down, Syracuse held the 73-72 lead.
Smart takes the shot, and the Hoosiers with 3 seconds.
I run to the bench. Everyone grabs me and says, "You know what you've done? You know what you've done?" And I'm saying, "We have 1 second left. We have 1 second left."
At the 1 second mark.
Appropriately, Smart caught Syracuse's desperate inbound pass.
Indiana wins the championship. Keith Smart is the hero.
smart shot was history repeating itself. 5 years before, again at the New Orleans Superdome, an NCAA title was decided on a last-minute basket. It was the beginning of the legend of Michael Jordan. Georgetown was leading 62-61. With 17 seconds left, this precocious freshman put North Carolina on the verge of the championship.
Michael Jordan, 14 seconds.
Georgetown had enough time to win it, but Fred Brown, as if moved by an unseen force, passed to North Carolina's James Worthy.
He's fouled by Eric Smith. Fred Brown somehow or another threw the ball into the hands of James Worthy.
The NCAA championship game between Houston and North Carolina State is about to begin.
Albuquerque, New Mexico, the 1983 NCAA championship. Houston was playing North Carolina State, nobody's favorite, because the Wolfpack had tiptoed its way into the title game, while Houston had done the outrageous, overwhelming Louisville in a riveting dunk-a-thon.
There was a display of basketball ability, which I do not believe had been seen prior to this game. Louisville had a lead, and then Houston came back at them. But the dunks from both teams. It got to a point there was so many dunks. I thought that if a little kid possibly, was going for popcorn, they might have grabbed him and dunked him. They were dunking everything, and it was awesome. There's no other word. And we all sat there, and all the writers kept looking at me, and it's like, Colin's getting tight.
But Valvano had his team virtually hypnotized. His Wolfpack did not tremble before mighty Houston.
So we told our kids that we wanted to get a lead, that it was essential for us to play with a lead. If they get off early and we're chasing, it's not going to happen.
Anders going to get it underway in time.
To everyone's surprise, Houston trailed by 8 points at the half.
The surprising North Carolina State team leads the #1 ranked team in the country.
Now the second half, maybe I shouldn't have said this at halftime, but I did. And sometimes you have coaches we shouldn't say because you put the seed in the player's mind. But they're a great team. Men, they're going to come back. They're going to have a run. It's a game of runs.
Houston roared back, opening the second half with a 17-2 spurt.
We came back with the strength of the perimeter game. Wittenberg hit one. Wittenberg hit another one. Sidney Lowe hit one. Sidney Lowe hit another one.
With 1:05 left, the score tied at 52. Houston freshman Alvin Franklin missed at the foul line. Houston would not get the ball back.
This is a really interesting strategy by Houston. They're aggressive now.
As the clock counted down, Houston did not foul. Valvano's team was not impatient.
Stolen by Drexler. Boy, is he good at that. Got it drive to the basket. It's down to 7 seconds. You can see the time. Wittenberg, in the long ways.
Lorenzo Charles had taken Wittenberg's prayer out of the heavens.
I mean, many things written. The favorite one was that trees would tap dance, elephants would drive the Indianapolis 500, Orson Welles would skip breakfast, lunch, and dinner before NC State figured out a way to beat Houston. Well, that's what happened. Call it a miracle? I think it might be.
CAA championship to go with 1974.
Like all of us, I've thrown up my share of air balls in my time, but none of mine ever turned into game winners. As you just saw, last-second miracles sometimes have more to do with luck than design. North Carolina State won a national championship because Lorenzo Charles was in the right place at the right time. But there are also times when a sports miracle happens because the losing side was doing the wrong thing at the very worst time.
The 1941 World Series, scene of one of baseball's most memorable last-second goofs. The Dodgers faced the favored Yankees, who were blessed when a sure-handed catcher lost his magic touch.
The Yankees were really a dynasty back in those days. They had some of the greatest ball players in the history of the game, and they had them playing in their prime at the same time. And of course the Dodgers were on the rise at that time. They brought in some good ball players and developed some good young ball players of their own.
In Game 4, the Dodgers take a 4-3 lead into the ninth. The first two Yankees are retired easily, and the Dodgers are 1 out away from tying the series at 2-2. Dodgers reliever Hugh Casey pitches to the Yankees' Tommy Henrich. The count reaches 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Dodgers are leading by a score of 4-3. They're 2 out, nobody on base. Casey goes into the windup. Around comes the right arm. In comes the pitch. It's way the ball gets away from Mickey Orr. It's only back to the screen.
If I could have caught it, I always had to caught it in my teeth if I could have, but I didn't miss many like that. I really, I couldn't believe it wasn't in my mitt.
Following the passed ball, the Yankees went on to score 4 runs, winning 7-4. Instead of tying the series, the Dodgers were behind 3-1 and reduced to a state of shock. The very next day, the Yankees won the 1941 World Series 4-1.
Giraldi brings it into Hernandez, and a fly ball to center field will be the second out.
Shea Stadium, New York. The 1986 World Series appeared to be over. Game 6, the bottom of the 10th inning. The Red Sox were ahead 5-3, 1 out away from their first World Series title since 1918. The Mets needed a miracle.
I don't think anyone could imagine what was going to happen. I think when it happened, it just shocked everyone.
There's a line drive in the left, and that's a hit. Carter gets a base hit into left with 2 out, and it's not over yet. Breaking ball, base hit, center field. The tying runs are on. Here's the pitch from Giraldi, and a swing and a base hit to center field. Makes it a 1-run game. The tying run goes on to third. It's 5-4 with the tying run on at third base, the winning run on at first base, and 2 men out.
A couple guys were out of uniform, and they already had a beer in hand. They had to run and put the uniform back on to get the dugout once we got this tie run on base.
A long one could win it. The home run would win it. The pitch. Ball 3. Wild pitch. We're going to be tied. The ball went off the glove of the catcher. We're 5-5 in the bottom of the 10th.
You got to understand that the pressure was already off me before I hit the ball. The game was already tied. When I came to the plate, we were down a run, and now it's 3-2 and the game is tied. I just got to make contact.
Here's the pitch to Mookie Wilson. Winning run at second. Ground ball to first. It is a run, an error. An error by Buckner. The winning run scores. The Mets win it 6-5 with 3 in the 10th.
I don't feel sorry for Bill Buckner, and I don't think Bill Buckner wants anyone to feel sorry for him. But if I had to say either he catch the ball and tags me out or whatever, or him missing the ball, I'm glad he missed it, you know, because I got to be a hero.
There's no fight worth a man's life.
This is one of the most unusual calls by a referee in the whole history of the sport. There's no doubt that Richard did the right thing. The man could have been seriously hurt.
The winner and now holder of both the WBC and IBF 140-pound championships.
Wherever they go, boxer and trainer will never be far from March 17, 1990. The night when trainer Lou Duva and boxer Meldrick Taylor were only moments away from the sweetest triumph of their lives. Las Vegas. Taylor, though undefeated, was the underdog. That's because Julio Cesar Chavez, 68-0, was regarded by many as the world's best boxer.
I knew that I had to take my game to another level in order to beat him. I knew that I had to be 110%, and I knew that I had to give my best performance in my life.
Taylor did. For 11 rounds, he was incessant, humbling Chavez.
Solid left hand by Meldrick Taylor.
Entering round 12, 2 of the 3 judges had Taylor comfortably ahead. By simply avoiding Chavez, the bout would be his. But Duva wouldn't let Taylor run. He told his boxer to fight.
This is the last and final round. You want to be champion of the world?
My instructions to him was stay low, turn this guy around, but win the round. He did that for 11 rounds. He did that for. Why shouldn't he do it the 12th round?
Duba's instructions allowed Chavez the opportunity for a last-second miracle.
If he gets up, he probably wins the fight. I can't believe it!
Unbelievable! Richard Steele stopped the fight with fewer than 5 seconds to go. You're going to watch Lou Duba go absolutely berserk.
And my fighters are true champions. They go out there to win the fight. I send them out there to win the fight. If I had to do it again, I'd do it.
If I had to do it all over again, I would use my own judgment. I would do what my body was able to do in that last round.
Clock begins to run again. It's down to 18.
Memorial Stadium, Berkeley, California. Time was running out. But in the 85th meeting of Stanford and Cal, the best was yet to come. Senior John Elway, already a miracle worker, leads Stanford to the Cal 18, where kicker Mark Harmon appears to assure a victory.
Listen to the crowd. Here's the snap. Here's the kick. It is long enough. It is good. Stanford hits it with 4 seconds to go and takes the lead 20-19. Only a miracle can save the Bears.
4 seconds remained. The sun was sinking behind Strawberry Canyon, and it seemed the day had already seen enough drama. And while Stanford celebrated, many Cal fans turned toward the exits, not knowing they would miss the chance to witness what was undoubtedly a last-second miracle.
Harmon will probably try to squib it, and he does. Ball comes loose, and the Bears have to get out of bounds. Rogers along the sideline, another one. They're still in deep trouble at midfield. They tried to do a couple of... The ball is still loose as they get it to Rogers. They give it back now to the 30. They're down to the 20. Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's going into the end zone. Will it count? The Bears have scored, but the bands are out on the field.
Something had to be wrong with a play that had 4 players throwing 5 laterals, that had illegal players from both teams on the field, that had the Stanford band forming a protective tunnel as the winning touchdown was scored. Although it seemed nothing was right about the play, in the end, it turned out nothing was really wrong.
Everybody's milling around on the field. The Bears have won. The Bears have won. Oh, my God. The most amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending, exciting, thrilling finish in the history of college football. California won the big game over Stanford.
Personally, I don't know what all the fuss is about with Cal's winning touchdown. We practice this play all the time with the Cincinnati Bengals. Let me show you. 6 guys are going to do the lateraling here. There, boom, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 guys do the blocking right up there. Over here is the other team. So you're going to come up here and go to this guy. He's going to lateral back. He'll go up to here. Then you got a really long lateral right here. Going to go all the way down to here. This guy's up here. He's going to get the glory as he runs through the members of the band and scores a touchdown. All right. We're done with football now. Next, whether it's athlete against athlete, man against machine, or athlete versus the clock, a race can be the most compelling of sports events. Here's our choices of races to remember.
When the finish line is near, we discover our limits. If the finish line is near, then caution is not. And it is at the finish line where history often waits.
It's Abraham Hussein who has taken over the lead of the Boston Marathon.
October 1983. Cold and drizzly, but splendid weather for the 14th and finest New York Marathon. England's Jeff Smith, the marathon rookie, was on world record pace. At 20 miles, 1 pursuer remained, though far behind, New Zealand's Rod Dixon. But as they neared the finish in Manhattan, Dixon kept closing the margin. Smith was stumbling, exhausted. Dixon, even with a strained hamstring, still narrowed the gap.
You saw him stumble, almost fall. You see him have the sprint. Despite the aching thighs, despite the pain in his legs, Rod Dixon is about to has taken the lead. Where he found the sprint, Marty, I can't imagine. There it is. Rod Dixon has won the New York City Marathon. Look at him on his knees.
At the finish, a poignant portrait.
All the time, it was just push, push, push. It's the greatest thrill of my life.
1982, car racing's most famous marathon. The Indy 500 that almost wasn't came down to Rick Mears, the heavy favorite, and 45-year-old Gordon Johncock at the twilight of a hard-luck racing career. With 100 miles left, Johncock in blue and red swung past Mears. With 6 laps left, Johncock's lead was 7 seconds. It was 3 seconds with 3 laps to go.
We get less than that. We get about 2.5. Okay, I don't think...
In the last 2 laps, with his car handling badly, Johncock's rearview mirror was full of Mears.
Extremely dangerous business right here. Right now, you only got to pray. Look at that.
In the final straightaway, Mears saw an opening on the left.
He's making a move. No, not quite. John won the Indianapolis 500. He won it by less than a car length.
Innsbruck, Austria, a place of natural wonders. This was the site of the 1976 Winter Olympics, the games that belonged to a native son, Austria's Franz Klammer.
It was something so unique in sport at the time for me to be there and personally involved in it. Here was this young 21-year-old Austrian skiing against the best in the world in his own country, literally in his own backyard, with 75,000 screaming Austrians lining his course for 2 miles.
If I would have gone down so or so, and I wouldn't have been proud of me, maybe even if I would have took a medal. But that's not the way I want to go out of such a race.
And he's right on the edge, and there's that intermediate time, and he...
Klammer, of course, came down in an unbelievable way. I mean, careening all over the course, and he almost hit the hay bales and almost into the trees.
He's on the edge. Believe me, he is on the edge of disaster, and he knows what he has to do. Look at him fly. And Franz Klammer certainly cannot be accused of doing anything but attacking. Look at him go for it. And he's still 100th of a second behind Russi. He has got to let it go.
Switzerland's Bernard Russi had the time to beat, and it still looked unbeatable.
This is it. This is for the gold medal. Russi caught on the left, Klammer on the right. Klammer has done it.
To be given little or no chance to win after Bernard Russi's run, and then to come through like he did, is one of the great happenings.
Klammer's downhill run is not just one of the great Olympic moments. Talk about pressure. What Klammer did was one of the great clutch performances of all time. Well, after taking you to the Austrian Alps, we now go back stateside to the green grass of America's ball fields. We're going to look at those monumental games, a playoff, a World Series. The score is close, a hero is waiting to be born, and then suddenly, with one swing of the bat, the ball is going. Well, you know the rest.
The Polo Grounds in Manhattan, 1951. The New York Giants and Brooklyn Dodgers, furious crosstown rivals, met for the final game of their pennant playoff. Dodger ace Ralph Branca took over for an exhausted Don Newcomb, just 2 outs away from a 1-run victory. But Branca was tired too.
People forget that Ralph Branca not only relieved on Sunday, he also relieved Saturday, relieved Sunday, pitched 2 innings, pitched Monday and went 8 innings, had Tuesday off, and I was back in the bullpen to pitch on Wednesday. People forget that.
Something people will never forget is what happened next when 9 years later, the New York Yankees met the Pittsburgh Pirates in the 1960 World Series. Through 6 games, the Bronx Bombers outscored Pittsburgh 46-17, but the scrappy Pirates had managed to eke out 3 wins. And after 8 innings of Game 7, Pittsburgh held a 9-7 lead, just an inning away from the championship.
When we got to 2 runs ahead going into the top of the 9th, I figured that we got to just show up and get 3 outs, and we're out of here with a world championship. But Next thing you know, something happens. Here's a man on here, a base hit up the middle, and then Yogi hits a little looping liner with man on first, and the runner walks in from third and ties the ball game. My heart just sank. I says, oh no, here come them Yankees. Here comes the Yankees back with their favorites, you know, come from behind, win, and this and that kind of stuff. And I just figured we're just about out of it. I was about as low as I could get after being as high as you could get in the 8th inning.
As the leadoff batter in the bottom of the 9th, Bill Mazeroski was about to try and do what had never been done before, win a World Series with a home run.
Art Ditmar throws. Here's a swing and a high fly ball going deep to left. This may do it. Back to the wall goes Berra. It is over the fence. Home run. The Pirates win. Ladies and gentlemen, Mazeroski has hit a 1-0 pitch over the left field fence at Forbes Field to win the 1960 World Series for the Pittsburgh Pirates by a score.
I couldn't help myself. I had to start jumping and yelling. I think I floated all the way around from second base to home plate. All I could think about was, we beat the Yankees. We beat the great Yankees. We beat the Yankees.
Mazeroski and Bobby Thompson won a World Series and a pennant for their teams with dramatic home runs. In 1975, the Boston Red Sox lost the World Series to the Cincinnati Reds in 7 games. Yet, what we remember is Game 6, the at-bat by Red Sox catcher Carlton Fisk in the bottom of the 12th inning.
And the wind blowing out. We've had 3 homers tonight, all to right field or center field. Carbo's was to dead center, the other 2 to right. There it goes, a long drive. If it stays fair, home run. We will have a 7th game in this 1975 World Series. Carlton Fisk becomes the first player in the series to hit one over the wall into the net. Red Sox win it 7-6 in 12 innings.
He took one step, knew it was going to be close, he knew it was gone, and it was dancing in the streets all the way around.
And Carlton Fisk had a lot of little boy in him right there, Joe.
Well, I was next to Soch in the dugout during the whole thing, and I said, do you know who's going to pinch hit here? And he said, well, he's got Andy up there. I said, no, Gibby's going to come out. And he goes, he can't hit, he can't play.
No one in Dodger Stadium expected Kirk Gibson to play in Game 1 of the 1988 World Series. Gibson wasn't even in the dugout, forced to stay in the locker room out of uniform, his damaged knees wrapped in ice. But with the Dodgers down 4-3 and 2 out in the bottom of the 9th inning, Gibson sent a clubhouse assistant to tell manager Tommy Lasorda he was ready to go.
Something just clicked, and I just said, baloney. We'll see about that. And I went out, peeled my ice bags off right at the end. I just walked straight out, and I picked up the rosin bag. I walked straight to the batter's box. I was ready. And I had programmed myself for this moment, and I knew it was my calling. I was ready for the confrontation, and my first swings were weak. It was, some have told me they were afraid I was embarrassing myself.
Oral Hershiser was one of those doubters.
He looked like a new fawn up there in the batter's box the first couple swings, you know, just no legs at all, and almost hoping Tommy would pinch hit for him in the middle of the at-bat. You know, get him out of there. He looked terrible.
When I got to 3-2, I stepped out of the batter's box and made Eckersley step off the rubber. And I said to myself, if you get him 3-2 in a pressure game, partner, as sure as I'm standing here breathing, he's going to throw you a 3-2 backdoor slider. I said that to myself. I stepped back in. He threw me a 3-2 backdoor slider.
3-2 pitch coming here from Eckersley. Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable! A home run for Gibson. And the Dodgers have won the game 5-4. I don't believe what I just saw. I don't believe what I just saw. Is this really happening, Bill?
It is happening, and they've got to help him home. The third base coach, Joe Malfitano, had to give him a little push, and all the Dodgers are around home plate.
At that particular moment, Not one Dodger fan, not one person in L.A. was thinking about any problems. We were all happy, and that doesn't happen very often, so it has to be a special moment.
Fans in Los Angeles may have been delirious, but in Oakland, Gibson's homer was a last-second tragedy. Still, for most sports fans, these last-second miracles are a common bond to be replayed and relived now and for generations to come. When they occur, all you think about is this incredible display of talent, how something almost unimaginable has taken place, how an athlete has given it all and won. These magic moments in time are rare, but in sports where only fools like myself make predictions, another last-second miracle could occur at any time. Waiting like the rest of us, I'm Chris Collinsworth. So long, everybody.
Flutie flush. Throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it. It's a touchdown. The Eagles win it. Unbelievable. I don't believe it. Phelan's in the bottom of that pile. Here it is.
Bobby Orr behind the net to Sanderson. Orr! Bobby Orr! Scores for the Boston Bruins.
Second delivery, running like the window. Thompson hits one. Francis throws. There's a long
will finish things in. What an uppercut by Douglas, and down goes Tyson.
It's over.
Mike Tyson has been knocked out.
Art Goodbar throws. Here's a swing and a high fly ball going deep to left. Let's say do it. Back to the wall goes Berra. It is over the fence home run. The Pirates win.
Smart takes the shot. And it hurts with 3 seconds. There it goes, a long drive. If it stays fair, home run.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports, the network of champions.